Many years I have traveled the ocean blue, from one harbor to another as the captain of my crew. Many wonders I have seen, none of which were a simple sailor's dream.
When I first started my research, I thought that mermaids were just captains and sailors' tales of lonely life at sea. It didn't take me long to realize that that was a wrong assumption.
The mermaid has definitely been an ongoing fascination in human literature. People have an obsession with the mysterious female from the sea.
A mermaid is not just any creature, no. She is the most beautiful creature ever known to man.
I was preparing to propose my master's thesis in English, but I just wasn't connecting with the material covered in my classes. That is, until I came across the idea of mermaids.
Mermaids appear throughout literature and art, from the highest form to the lowest. They have a fascination for women, and especially for men.
Basically, the mermaid is this beautiful, enchanting creature that calls out to men. But if you follow her, she will lead you to your death.
For women, the mermaid is decorative art. But for men, it is something much more sexual.
Really can't imagine myself a better way to go, if you know what I'm saying.
Within the confines of the Christian church, the mermaid is the symbol of bestiality. She's both forbidden and out of reach. She's the perpetual Eve of temptation.
Beautiful women always lead men to their downfall. I mean, Eve, she had to be one hot babe, you know what I'm saying? Whew. Yeah, hot.
I decided I needed to do a little bit more than just read about the mermaid. I was going to go looking for her myself. I was so excited. I just had to tell my friend Julie because as kids, we used to make believe that we were mermaids.
So what do you mean the shipment didn't arrive? I have a stack of receipts in my hand right now. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No, let me explain something to you. I'm not putting up with this. You're going to have that shipment in the warehouse by 9 a.m. tomorrow, or it's going to be your head on my desk. Capiche? So why are you here? Mermaids? You know, I don't have time for this. We're going to have to reschedule for another time. Harry from accounting, please. Hi, Harry. That shipment, it's not here. No, it's not. Let's fix it quickly.
It only seems fair that people really believed in these creatures. I mean, they were out at sea, alone, with their colorful imaginations, possibly just hoping to see a mermaid, so when they saw anything, it just had to be. Research indicates that the mermaid never really existed in nature, not in a way that matches man's descriptions. Oh, there have been several attempts to falsify the mermaid. Most fraud cases involve the combination of small mammals with the lower half of a fish skeleton, but that doesn't account for the real descriptions of living mermaids. One could speculate that various animals are sources of the mermaid. There are often comments about the mermaid's face and expressions. One's awfully close to that of a seal. I mean, have you ever stopped to look at those creatures? So many things about them seem almost human. Well, comparing the lore with real-life animals, one would have to deduce that the mermaid is somewhat a figment of the imagination. She's described in so many incarnations that it's hard to see the mermaid as one solid being. She seems to be whatever people want her to be.
When you venture into the realm of performing, you have to come up with an identity. I chose the mermaid because she symbolizes my struggle as a woman trapped in a man's body. I knew there was something down deep inside there, just waiting to be freed.
The mermaid is she's like this voluptuous creature that she's beautiful and she's got these perky breasts that kind of thrust out in magnificent hard nipples. She's like the cheerleader of the sea, basically.
Well, part of developing my show is I had to figure out how a mermaid would move. I mean, this tight outfit is quite limiting. I just kept moving around, and well, then it came to me like an epiphany. I mean, I just had to move like Marilyn Monroe in those itty-bitty little skirts. Oh, and the breath would have to be just very, very whispery.
I wasn't getting anywhere with my search. So that's when I decided to try some new methods for finding the mermaid. That's when I went to Chloe. I knew immediately, if anybody could help me, it would be her.
Oh. You're here to talk about mermaids.
In the process of my search, I found myself wanting to know what the mermaid really was.
In early cultures, the mermaid is a scavenger, something to be both feared and revered.
The mermaid is the Enchantress of the Sea. She's this being who is part woman and part fish, but not like some monster.
As time progresses, however, she becomes an object of beauty and vanity.
She has a narrow waist, wide curvaceous hips going down to this long, beautiful tail, and her breasts, they're just so
Well, of course, the mermaid is a beautiful creature. No one can resist her, really.
I have spent hours searching for the mermaid, trying to find her in unique ways. Before I transferred into English, I had considered studying being a zoologist because I just enjoyed watching animals. I've tried putting human characteristics onto real animals to see if I could figure out how a lonely man at sea could draw the connection. I've spent hours comparing the real living animals with the imaginary. One of the most popular animals related to the mermaid was a seal. In Northern Europe and the British Isles, the seal and its skin was the common thread to the mermaid. Watching them move, I could almost draw the connection. Maybe I just kept hoping I would see what the fishermen saw. You know, how their minds wandered on their daily adventures.
You're not gonna just walk around and find a mermaid. It's not that simple. She'll only come to the true of heart. To find her, you have to let go and open your mind.
You want to talk about mermaids? Well, now that you have my attention, what is it exactly that you'd like to know?
To find a mermaid, one must let go of material thoughts and worries. You have to transcend back into a childlike wonder.
See, the mermaid is not someone who just captivates children. She's a very broad appeal.
Oh, you can read a lot of books and stare at all the art you want, but that's not the way you're gonna find a mermaid.
She's a very sensuous creature, very captivating.
I find it interesting that the mermaid tale persists in and out of fishermen cultures. Even more so that fishermen will claim descent from mer people, which will give them certain luck and leverage over their community and way of life.
I can't believe I'm about to admit this, but my mother's side of the family is from this small town on the northern coast of Ireland, and it's been passed down that my great-great-grandfather was actually the son of a mermaid and a fisherman. You know, my grandfather, who likes to drink a little bit too much, is actually admitted to have mated with a mermaid. So I guess possibly somewhere I could have some mer cousins swimming around. Actually, my real name is Eula, which means sea jewel in Celtic. That's my date. I have to go, but feel free to look around. Just remember, a man should be careful when he's in a mermaid's lair. Hi there.
The mermaid is this beautiful, sensual creature that is the soul of every woman.
I started thinking about other symbols and characterizations of the mermaid.
She symbolizes our insecurities as well as our power. A timid beauty who fears being captured by men. However, it is her unattainableness that drives men to seek her.
After weeks of searching, I took a break, then decided maybe I was taking the wrong approach. I needed a new perspective.
The mermaid's very special. And while she's known to harm man, she's also been known to help women. She knows how to seduce them and then lead them to their death. She's not to be trifled with. Well, as a little girl, I loved mermaids. I used to want to be one, but as I got older, I knew they weren't real. Well, I used to not think they were real, but one day I was with my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, Jerry, and well, Jerry's this guy who, well, he could be so sweet at times, but then he would just turn. And I can't really remember what happened, but he got in one of his moods, you know, and he started yelling, and then he got really violent. I couldn't escape him. Well, you know, finally he stopped, and so I got up to start walking, and I heard him yelling after me, but I couldn't stop. I couldn't look at him. And I thought he was coming after me, and then I heard a wave crash. And then it got really eerie and silent, and I looked back and he was gone. And a couple days later, his body washed ashore, and he must have drowned. And ever since, I believe in mermaids.
There is much speculation on the sexual anatomy of the mermaid. However, there is extreme attention brought to the mermaid's breast when described in the tales or depicted in art.
Well, there's so many different facets in drawing a good mermaid. First and most obvious is the tail. You get a feel for the artist's perception of what the mermaid looks like in the tail. I mean, is she a fish with scales? Is she a seal with fur? Which you really never see that just because it's not really cool or sexy. You got the hair, eyes, you got all that stuff. But lastly, and most importantly for me anyway, is you gotta figure out how to draw the breasts.
The focus of the breast in art could be directly attributed to what is known as the male gaze. The male gaze is when the female indulges in activities or strikes poses that can be very appealing. I just keep thinking. They just keep thinking about her breast.
You got to decide important things like you bind them all up in bikini tops or seashells. Oh, you could always cover them with hair. That's really sexy. But I think by far, perhaps my favorite, definitely, is the breasts with full-on nipple action, just right out there. Hi, how you doing? Basically, you can mate with the mermaid from the front, but, well, now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the merman's penis is all okay and everything, but, it's not really that big. I mean, so, you know.
He's got a penis? Really? Oh man, that is so cool. But how does he get to, bang the mermaid?
Those males who are obsessed with a mermaid's sexual development and attributes are obviously trying to compensate for their own lack of interaction with the opposite sex and their failure at male displays of dominance and aggression. All this nonsense about the size of a merman's penis is simply superfluous. I'm quite sure it's of adequate size for procreation. And besides, the merman carries the phallic trident as a sign of his masculine attributes.
Mermen, tridents, I just don't even know where to begin to explain it.
Well, like the man mermaid, he has a trident, right? So like, if I was a man mermaid, I could go around and I could shock little kids that get into my way surfing.
You cannot deconstruct a mermaid in hopes of finding her. The whole process of deconstruction is to disprove her existence. No. To find a mermaid, you must believe.
I never really found what I was looking for, but I had done everything I could, and I had to accept that. Basically, the mermaid is whatever people want her to be, and I wanted her to be simple and pure. I wanted her to be the same carefree creature that I remember from childhood.
The mermaid is the beautiful, perfect female. Something so ethereal that man can never attain her. Once he lays his hand on her, she destroys him. It's the old story of the male trying to attain the female. Only a woman can appreciate the true beauty of the mermaid.
She is your dream girl. She is probably the most beautiful person you have ever seen in your life, without a doubt. Plus, she's got the best set of nipples. Ooh, just...
She's out there, if you really want to find her.
There are so many sailors' tales about sea monsters of all sorts. Nowadays, we've proven that sea monsters and other manifestations like werewolves and vampires are part figment of the imagination, part grounded in real observation. Despite proving they don't exist, they still fascinate the mind even of the unbelievers. I guess, deep down, I still wish that the mermaid does exist, and with a little hope one day, I will get a chance to see her. In some ways, I keep searching for the mermaid.
are like fronts with no breasts.